Well, good morning, everybody. It's June 2nd, 2025, and it's the favorite time of our week because it's Mondays with Bev and Paul. And hi, everybody. My name's Paul.
Well, hi everybody. This is Bev.
Good morning, Bev.
Good morning, Paul.
And good morning to all of you out there in Humanityville, because we're going to talk about how we all have a shared humanity and how BioTouch helps us come to an awareness of that and allows us to share our humanity. So we're going to talk about that in a while, but first we have one last picture for the dream catcher, and somebody told me, well, where's your picture, Paul? So there it
Yeah.
is.
Hello, Paul.
I'm in the center of the dream catcher. 35 years doing BioTouch. I think I'm an expert by now, and
Yeah.
we're in the center so that I can get the juice of the dream catcher. And if you'd like to be in the dream catcher, send us a picture and send us a name and where you reside on the planet, and we'll put you in the dream catcher. So we've done this for 6 months now. I guess we started the first
Oh,
of the year, didn't we?
yes, we did
Yeah,
actually.
so six
Yep.
months, and we've run out of pictures of and people who want to be in the center. So if you don't send us anything, then we'll call it quits for a
Yep.
while. So
Yep.
there you go. Thank you all for letting me be in the middle of the dream catcher.
Awesome. Good. Good.
All right, here we go. We're going to talk about shared humanity. Why are we going to talk about that? So I was inspired another YouTube. Well, actually, it came through TikTok. And then I have to find it in order to share it because nobody I know, except you finally got on TikTok.
Yeah.
Most people go, oh, I don't have TikTok. I can't watch it. So anyhow, there was a oration at a Harvard Commencement ceremony. Hopefully I don't blow this woman's name. Yurong, Jian, Juanna is her name, and she gave a little 15-minute speech that I was totally inspired by. So we're going to take some of her quotes, mostly towards the end of it, where she says, if we believe in our shared future, let us not forget that those we label as enemies, they too are human. In seeing their humanity, we find our own.
Wow. Profound.
Yes. So we want to build on that a little bit and go into a couple of other quotes she gave there. But yeah, and I was inspired by that, right? Because we've always said, you don't have to like the person you're working with.
Right. Exactly.
And they don't
Yeah.
have to like you, right?
Right. Well, we talk about doesn't matter what your belief system is. We don't have a philosophy. It doesn't matter. This BioTouch goes beyond all of that and
Right.
lets us, yeah, just touch.
Yeah, and you don't have to like the personality, because what we were talking about, that love that we have, that BioTouch allows us to express, is innate in all of us. We even say that in our manual. We go here with a simple intent to help one's fellow human beings. We even use that word there,
Yeah.
humanity.
Right.
And proper instruction assistance may be initiated by any individual. Let's see. Everyone, because of their inherent love and compassion for those who are suffering, can perform these methods without limitation.
Yep. That's what it takes, right? That's with or without an intention. If just that compassion that we have for each other, or seeing someone in pain or stress, that kind of ignites what's within us. And then you just reach out and touch that person. And what do we say? It doesn't matter if you like them or not.
Yes.
That has nothing, all those barriers between us are broken down. That's the power of love, or what we are becoming aware of as love.
Right. And
Yeah.
and that allows us to experience, even for a moment, our shared humanity.
Yeah.
That's the power that we like about BioTouch. And in that, that's where healing begins. When we stop separating ourselves from
Yes.
others. I mean,
Yes.
that's our greatest conflict within ourselves. You were just talking about that even with your ex-husbands, right? The
Yeah.
conflict between the two of you,
Right.
and how we go into disease, and when we think people are separate from ourselves,
Oh yeah, that's a big one, isn't it? Separateness is the foundation of all that we are actually trying to heal. You know, it's interesting that word healing. You were talking. Um, we think of healing always related to our bodies, right? I think we're starting to step out of that a little bit, but true healing I mean, the body is just the last domain that healing happens in. Healing happens when every single one of us in this human kingdom comes together and all those barriers are broken down. That's when we are all going to truly heal. I think a lot of our dis-ease comes from this separateness that we've allowed to
Right.
happen. And this is why biotouch is so incredibly important because it nothing but that love. It breaks through everything. And that is truly the beginning of healing for all of us. Our bodies are just holding all these traumas and all these stories and all this continued experience that we have had as one humanity. And so there's just an epidemic of disease on this planet right now in the human kingdom. Why
Right.
is that? Why is that? It's because I think a lot of it's erupting out of us because the healing is demanding to happen. You have to something has to be puked up before it can,
Right. You got to
you
see
know?
it. Right. 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 You got to.
And that's what's happening with this fourth kingdom in nature on this planet. We are bringing up all of that stuff that has led to our disease. And here's BioTouch helping us through it, through this transition, empowering us to be aware, to make changes, to see each other differently.
Yeah. And that's interesting when what's that common denominator of humanity. I really got a chance to see that when I went to Egypt and I was on an Al Jazeera station, and so a lot of communities in the Middle East there were calling in, and it had to be translated. And I learned there was one common denominator of that humanity, and that was everybody was afraid.
Yes.
Everyone felt separate. Everyone felt judged. Thereby, they judged not
Right.
only others, they judged themselves. We're judging ourselves all the
Oh,
time. And you
all the
found that
time.
to be the common denominator, which, as you were just talking about, becomes the core of our so-called diseases.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
BioTouch brings us to that this woman Yurong goes on, she says, we may have different languages and different dreams, but they have all become part of us. We may disagree with them, but hold on to them. Hold on to
Mm.
them, she said. And I'm like, just touch them.
Yeah. Yeah. Love is the cure. I'm going to
Yes.
say that love is the cure, or at least acting as if, because we have said this many times, we are becoming what we already are, but we are consciously only becoming love because we don't really understand that high idea. Okay, it's a divine idea, and so we are working our way into that truth that we are love. It's easy to say we are love, we all love each other, we're all connected. Those are those are lovely thoughts, but we have to begin to put them into practice. And biotouch is
Right.
a the best practice of love I've seen.
Right, because it doesn't take it's not a concept, it's not a
No.
belief system. I mean, most of the time when we say, "Oh, I love," or
Yeah.
peace, love, and tie dye, those kinds of things, that's
Right.
always in contradiction to our judgments or our hate so we're using that to sort of hide our judgments of one another. Where
Yeah.
in BioTouch, it doesn't matter. You can live in love or you can live in anger and still be effective with biotouch. It
Right.
bypasses the dichotomy, the duality, and just lets you go direct to. I mean, that greeting takes you right there. It's like going through the matrix. You
Yeah.
do
Right.
that greeting
Take
at
that
the
pill.
right in the below the breastbone, right in that solar plexus area, and you touch another human being lightly in the most vulnerable place of your body. Like that's what Gary Schwartz said. You're touching someone. It was such a light touch in the most vulnerable place of their
Yeah,
body.
it's true.
It
Yep.
has to be an expression of love without judgment. And at that moment, it doesn't matter what I think of somebody. We use the perfect example, and we always learn what we need to, too. That's the
Yes,
other
we
part
do.
of the shared humanity. When she talks about we all have different dreams, but, they're all part of us. And so if I
Oh, we
have
learn
this,
from each other, don't we? We
yeah,
learn
and
from
when I
each
have
other.
this block, to that understanding, I'm going to bring somebody to me that just is exactly what I need. And Deborah, the author of our book, you know, uh, talks about it in the book there, how she hated feet. She hated them. The thought of it made her cringe. And almost the very first recipient she had after she became certified was somebody that had feet
Uh,
problems.
I read that in the book, and I'm like, there you go. There you go, Deborah.
And so it's just that simple. And just the light touch helps us clean up our judgments, helps the other person clean up theirs, and we both become healed, in the process of just touch. That
That's a good point because, we've talked about how biotouch is a healing relationship, that we truly are heal with each other. Okay. I mean, we're on this journey, our own journey, but when you're practicing biotouch together, um, I'm 50-50.
right,
So even though we may be the associates, the practitioners, we already know that at some level we're going to receive something from that other half of that relationship, that other person, the recipient. It's just so, just makes so much sense, actually, that when you are bound together in that touch, you can't, that connectedness, that deep connectedness that goes to the cellular level of both of us, you
right.
know,
And that
amazing things happen.
takes us to our vision, to encourage all people to take responsibility for their own health care, empower them to assist others, and create a community of people worldwide dedicated to service, self-awareness, and recognizing the equality of all humanity, thus forming a chain which shall go on indefinitely.
Yeah,
So
they're,
that chain you were just talking about, that's what we're looking at here. When
yeah,
I recognize it's all I am the humanity, and that's the chain. And so when I touch somebody else and then they touch somebody else, we're all beginning to recognize we're all one humanity. And never really in the history of humanity has it been so obvious as with all this technology.
oh my goodness.
I mean, we are around the world instantaneously, whether that's the good, the bad, or
Yeah.
the ugly.
I read years and years ago, that, and this was back in like 1992 or something. So I didn't have a computer, and a lot of people didn't really have a
Right.
lot of technology. But the editorial that I read, she says that it's going to be interesting to see how this web that's coming up, starting to emerge, how humanity is going to use and interact with that web, because that web is literally the nervous system of the planet. The nervous system of the planet. She says, we will all be able, with just a click, to experience individual, group, and national and planetary, not just activities, but she said karma.
Hmm. Interesting.
And I thought, wow, is that going to be good or what? Well, here we are, all these years later. How are we going to use this web when you think about a web, it is connectedness, isn't it? It's supposed to bring us together.
Right.
So that is what that chain is in our world, in biotouch. It's that web of love that we get to, and then it starts to ripple. That's what you and I are doing here. We're trying to ripple it out there.
Make it a ripple, right, right. Throw the rock in and watch it ripple, and
Yeah.
and that goes on too. Like, you know, you might not be able to see the ripple, but it goes on and on and on
Goes
and on,
on.
and then it hits a bank and comes back, 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 back. That was one of my favorite things in science class, was dropping two stones and watching, and then
Oh,
watching the
yeah.
ripples interact with one another. It's
Amazing. Yeah.
and so we're able to be with you. We're able to be with you, humanity, in sharing BioTouch. We just did a practitioner training. We had a few people from around just
did.
this country, but we can teach it around the world. We have Michaela in Germany. She has 6, 7 people working with her to be certified practitioners in the
Oh,
area around Germany there, and we have people all over the world teaching it. Turkey, Egypt, Mexico,
yep.
just people that are connecting. So it's easy for us to connect with a common language. The fingers, the two fingers
Oh,
touching the body, is a common language. It doesn't matter the words. Again, it doesn't matter your belief system. It doesn't matter what aisle you stand on. When you take those two fingers and touch another body, the Dalai Lama, I'll never forget when he said, you all talk about the oneness of humanity. You really want to understand the oneness of humanity? Look at bodies.
yeah. That was awesome. Look
Yeah.
at those. Yeah.
And that's BioTouch's goal here. Look at bodies. Touch another human being lightly like a butterfly, and we can bring our shared humanity to a reality for each of us. So that's the way you can learn it is justtouch.com. We also have a workshop coming up. We're going to talk about the fascia. I think that's how it's pronounced, the fascia. Those things that hold our body together, with Jose
Yeah.
Mendoza. He's going to talk to us about that. He's been working with that for decades. So we're going to do a workshop on that and give you the few sets of points that can help build the fascia or relax the fascia. So massage therapists love using BioTouch because they find it relaxes the fascia enough for them to really get in there and do their work. Also, we have classes coming up. We have a workshop this month, is it? Yes, next week. If you're here in Tucson, it's a 4-hour workshop with Eileen Webster. And if you want to go to justtouch.com, there's a link on how to sign up for that. Otherwise, we're here every Monday sharing our humanity with your humanity.
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So thank you all for joining us. If you have any topics or any questions you'd like us to address, hey, send it in. office@justtouch.com, and we'll try to figure out a bunch of words, take up 20 minutes and talk about it. So,
You do pretty good.
yeah, we appreciate you all. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Bev.
Thank you, Paul.
And
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Days in and days out, space and time is all about feeling pressure with the pain, in sunshine or in the rain. Living is a place in mind, giving is being kind, and the pain is too much. What we need is BioTouch. When I'm touching you, you are touching me. It's a simple thing to do and a natural way to be.